Double vision playing all week. Hey. On the third day of pod, Miss My Insequeer gave to me 3 expensive addictions. That is correct. Welcome to Insequeer, the podcast presents the 12 days of Podmas, and I'm your Insequeer as fuck ass host, Chloe Beck, and you are here. This is day 3. I'm really not excited about my 3 addictions, the ones that I picked. So if I pivot and I go the other way, you just go with me. But to be honest, once again, I say as the numbers get smaller, I have to think a little bit harder and I have to be a little bit more honest, and I don't know how this is going to play out. And this is why I don't like outlines and I don't like preemptively thinking about it, because in my head I have my 3 addictions while I really don't know if I want to talk about them, and I kind of want to pencil in some other ones, but we're going to do both and bring those together. But yeah, so I'm just going to jump right into one of my addictions, because I literally had just recorded 16 minutes of pure greatness, and then the thing stopped recording, and then and here a bitch is starting over. So while I was going down this dark tunnel about one of my addictions, I'm really pissed that I didn't save it, because I just got frustrated and said, fuck it, I'll start over. But the one addiction that I am comfortable with, the one that I have preemptively thought about, is my most expensive addiction probably in my life, that has cost me friendships, money, weight gain, insecurities, projects, everything, drinking. My number 1 most expensive addiction is being I'm on the mend. I'm in the journey of alcoholism, and I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on drinking, and I'm pretty sure I could have the Tesla of my dreams parked outside if I was not a drinker and more of a saver. But let's get into that first addiction, okay? Drinking. I, Chloe Beck, anything goes. I'm wearing a hat that says it. That was true for me. Full transparency, which I'm going to make that a fucking segment because I say it all the time. And full transparency. Everything I'm talking about is transparent because I'm telling you my fucking truth that I remember how I remember it. So, in my telling of my truth about drinking, it started in utero. My mother drank with me all 9 months because she had a doctor who insisted that I was a kidney stone infection, something to that effect. So my prenatal care was 151. My mother used to drink 151 and ride a bike and eat watermelon all 9 months with me. And so much so that she drank so much 151, 151, whatever the fuck you guys call it. I call that shit, everybody, gasolina. That shit is terrible. Don't ever do it if you've never done it. It's terrible. Don't do it. I don't recommend it, but I usually drink it around this time because we'll talk about it. She drank 151 all 9 months, so much so that I was born at 1:51 p.m. And I think that was my marker, my curse, the mark of the beast, if you will. And alcoholism in my family is rampant, has ran rampant. There's people who were always on the spectrum of alcoholism. Some people who had done all the drinking they could do and then found Jesus and then just damned everybody else who was still somewhere on the spectrum. We had seasonal drinkers. We had people who drank to get up, my mom. And so I've always seen liquor. I've always seen the discourse between those who drank and those who didn't. But the one thing that I never saw was anybody really be stark about, like, no, you can't do that in my house. Everybody was allowed to do what they did. And another part of drinking where in my memory, in my childhood, my growth, is that liquor was always present. It was omnipresent. It was the sprinkle to every occasion. It was, oh, we're celebrating, Kool in the Gang, turn it up. Oh, someone died, pour out shots. Oh, if you're me, it's Christmas and you're already seasonally depressed because life is a little shitty. Let's drink about it. So while that was always my truth, like, drinking was not something that was forced upon me. Like, I remember being able to take sips of beer and like do things like that. And like, my mother used to drink this so classy drink, golden champagne. It used to come in this beautiful green emerald bottle with gold writing, and like, it tastes like if ginger ale and champagne got married and had like a starburst inside of them, like a baby was born. Golden champagne, which they have since, I think you can only buy it online, and they changed the bottle and they changed the formula, so it's not the same. But if I could ever find a green bottle of golden champagne, that was the original champagne of beers in my life before I discovered the champagne of beers in my life. The first time I ever drank as a let me test it out on my own, I was about 7 years old. My mom's girlfriend slash best friend slash family icon in my life. She drank Miller High Life in the can, the little gold can, and she used to always have the pink silly straw. Not like the crazy silly, but the little one with the little accordion in the middle. And she used to drink them out. And I just thought she was so cool. I wanted to be like her. My hair is officially like hers. This is what her hair used to look like all the time for those of you who are watching on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, watch on YouTube. It's actually live now. It's not just a picture of my cover art. It's me. Hey, I'm here. Hi, welcome. Make sure you watch. Make sure you comment. Make sure you just fucking like the video. It's not that hard. It's free to support me until I start asking y'all to pay for this shit. So if you haven't done so, take this time to like, rate, comment, share, subscribe, download the episodes, like all my pictures on Instagram. That helps. Save some of them, comment on them. Do me a solid. It's free. You're already looking. You're already watching. So why don't you show me that you're watching? It's okay to like me. It's okay. I know a lot of you struggle with liking me, and that's okay. It's a struggle to like greatness. I know. I don't even like my greatness. I run from it, which is one of my addictions. But this is the time. So if you're not watching, I highly recommend watching. But if you're an avid listener, I also appreciate you there. As long as you're engaging and entertained by my truth and my edutainment, I'm grateful, forever grateful, and that's a gift. But Katie, that's her name. I said it. I don't care because I love her. She's the best thing that ever happened to our life, I think. Yeah. So Katie used to drink these fucking Miller High Lifes in a can with the straw, and like she had come over to my mom's house once and had left like a 6-pack, or like she would buy the 12-pack, the 24-pack, and just leave the rest. And like my mom would drink them, but it wasn't her favorite beer. My mom drank Coke 45. She thought she was Billy D. Williams. That's how old I am. So when Katie left, I remember getting her little straw out the trash can and going to get a beer and cracking it and putting it in there. And I remember drinking it, and I remember thinking, this is it. This is what I enjoy. I see why we're here. I remember getting caught with that can. I don't remember any repercussions, but then, so that was my norm. Like alcohol was around, and it was around, but it wasn't something that necessarily I had a problem with, or it was something that I sought out, or something that I engaged with more than these little kid, ooh, I had a sip, or ooh, I smoked a cigarette, I tried it, that type of thing. But once again, even though it wasn't something that I was like chasing after at a young age, it is something that I saw. I saw my mom in the middle of her breakups, in the middle of her hurts, in the middle of her every day, like her and her posse. She would go to work, come home, sit in her van, have beers, she drank Northern Light, which is a very cheap dark liquor. She used to drink Canadian Club, like very cheapish, but E&J, or Irk and Jerk as I call it, Parmesan, like these dark liquors, on a good payday or whatever the case. She was a Crown Royal drinker or things like that. So my mother always leaned towards dark liquor, and I always saw it. I saw, no matter what was going on, she found a way to pair alcohol. There was depression drinks, there was excited drinks, there was social drinks, there was someone has died drinks, there was drinks. There was It's Tuesday drinks. And so I picked up my social cues from her, like, so the two things that I inherited from my mother were the playlist and the poison. So she would always pair the music, and the drinks would match the mood. And that is something that I carry with me to this day, which we're going to chronicle here in a minute, about how this is important for this third day of Podmas and how it plays around for my insecurities. But I did not fully become a drinker until college. Like I had a few experiences. Like I would hang out with people who would drink, and it was just like, I'll have a sip, but it just wasn't for me. And I can't even say it's because, I was so damaged by seeing my mom do it. It just wasn't for me. I was a good kid. I was a college-bound star. I was in ROTC. I was in marching band, all these things I talked about. I was a very active kid, and I was a dare kid. And now I'm a trap kid. So I was letting people be great, but it did not influence me. And then I got to college and realized, oh, this is where all the shit goes down. So for the first 3 months of college, I was still that kid, didn't really have a friend group that I could get drunk with or do the thing with. Like I was going to class, I was going to the dining hall. For the first 3 months of college, like I was in bed by 9 or 10, like I just didn't have the social circle. And then the one reason why I do the work that I do, and I love it, asterisk, is that I met some amazing women on my floor in my dorm at Bowling Green, and it was just like, and they're off. Like the first set of drinks we got was $8 vodka called Orloff. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a January 10th. We bought 2 bottles. It was like $16 for 2 bottles. I should have known then that shit was cheap and terrible. I had a friend. I had no experience with clear liquors because my mom didn't drink it. So I didn't even know what to do with it. I didn't know how to mix it. My mom was a ginger ale mixer, dark liquor and ginger ale, excuse me. So I didn't even know what to do with it, but I had a friend in this first party. I have a picture. I'm going to post the picture. I'm going to find the picture of that first night. Wait till you see my press and curl and my fucking Stephen Barry's Chrysler jacket. Oh my God. I have pictures from that. I'm going to post those. She knew how to make lemon drops. So that was my first set of drinks. Like I maybe had like 5 or 6 lemon drops. And for some reason, that type of drinking felt different. It felt freeing and fun. And it was exciting because you weren't supposed to do it. We were all 18, 19. Nobody was 21. Like, I think one of my friends was dating someone who was 21. So he was the plug for the time. And then I slipped into the traditional college experience. We drank Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We drank Thirsty Thursdays, Fuck It Up Fridays, Say What Saturdays. We got drunk. St. Patrick's Day was like the one day of that year, my freshman year, where I went back to dark liquor because we were making a Hennessy and Hypnotics called The Incredible Hoax. And I highly recommend if you haven't had one, it's a terrible idea and you will hate yourself later, but just have Gatorade, Pedialyte, your DNR papers prepared, because when you're 33 or older, you probably shouldn't be drinking dumb shit like that. But at 18, it was a good time. And I had that quintessential college, old school movie keg party style. Like we weren't drinking kegs, but we would get 40 cases of 40 packs of Natty Light. Like that's what our beer was when we were kids. Oh, Natty Light, Nasty Light was a terrible time. We played beer pong. The girls, I will say the ladies that I grew up with and hung out with in college, compared to the men that I hung out with college, women always drank harder. Men pretty much stayed in that dumbass beer lane, but my residence hall was like the first experience I had with kind of co-ed. Like we had an elevator bank that separated a wing that was the boys' side and a wing that was the girls' side. And like, it was like an imaginary don't cross line. But when I tell you, on any given Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you could just walk down either side of the hall and knock. Like every door, it's almost like one of those walk-in museums where you can kind of pop in and see a scene of like the Bible. But every room, there would be somebody playing beer pong. There would be somebody building a beer can fort. There would be some people who are literally just punching each other with like pillowcases and like saran wrap, and like there would just be pranks on the boy side, but all beer heavy. And if you pivot to the right, we were playing vodka pong. Who the fuck said that was a good idea? Beer pong is a terrible idea. We're playing vodka pong. We are taking shots. I am watching all my white friends and black girlfriends who are more feminine than me pounding drinks while we're playing music, and they're getting dressed just so we can go walk around downtown to bars we can't even get in yet because we're under the age of 21. The RAs used to get shit-faced and like pee in trash cans and like go out and get wasted and like even give us liquor. Yeah, res life, am I right? It was this great time. And then I upped the ante. I pledged a sorority, a Black Greek letter organization sorority, and oh my God, white drinking, a phenomenal time. As a Black person, you probably never have to pay because they just want to show you that they're not racist and they love you and they put their arm around you and they hold you and they say, am I right, bro? Eminem is not that bad, right? Like, you're cool, bro. Like, you know, my cousin has a Black boyfriend. You know, I love Black people. You know, hey, I love that DMX. Aging myself. And if you can deal with all of that white guilt / needing your Black approval, you will have a free tab every night where I come from during my college time. But when you go Greek, it is literally like you go from like, we are the champions, to I'm about to stick my dick through the back of your pants. I wouldn't pass up a chance to rip those cheeks, fall on that ass, kick it for a week. Now all that, okay? When you go to Black college party drinking, it's like Magic City before the Freak Meet, before the police started all that weak shit. Like the drinks got so much more better. The volume of them got so much more deeper. And the fact that you are a Black Greek on a campus, even if you're in the shittiest organization, if your process sucks, if you're not the cutest member, the fact that you have letters, that is probably the closest I have felt to fame until I get there. Because, bitch, it's like the North Star, winter solstice. That's my superpower. She must have superpowers, bitch. I like Too Short if you don't know. Anyway, so then you get this letters and like I didn't have to wait in line for drinks. I didn't have to wait in line for clubs. I didn't have to wait in line. I didn't have to wait in line. Excuse me, I always hit that fucking chord. And the drinking just became like, it wasn't even peer pressure. Like, everybody drank. Like, I don't ever remember even the most holier than thou people on the black gospel choir people, the sorority, oh, I'm in this organization because I am holding true to the norms and I fit all the stereotypes. Them bitches got drunk as fuck too, probably drunker. I don't remember ever knowing somebody who's like, I don't drink. I have one friend who doesn't drink, and he should have made it to my 5 failed friendships. Actually, I could have subbed some people out, but we'll talk about him later. I have one friend who didn't drink, and he just got a pass for it. Like, okay, 2 friends didn't drink, but like, they also didn't matter because they weren't with us. Like, it was never so stark noticeable that someone didn't drink because everyone I hung out with drank. Like, we just kind of morphed into that. And it's expensive. It is a very expensive habit. While I didn't realize what it was costing me at the time, because I happened to go to a school in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, where they don't price gouge and you can get a gallon of something for $45, where in Manhattan a half or a quarter of that same gallon is $80 here. But something that I learned from my mom very early on when we talked about drinking was like, don't drink cheap liquor. Just don't do it. Like, that is the one place where you should not cut corners because you will feel it later. And as someone who started out drinking $8 vodka to someone who drinks the bougiest of bougie drinks now when I choose to drink because I'm working through it, she was right. I feel like shit anytime I drink something that costs less than $35, $40. It's just true. So that, when I talk about it, I talk about that time from 2005 to 2009 in my drinking very fondly, because for me, luckily for me, I was still drinking for fun. While I had some depressed drinking moments and some alcohol poisonings and some crazy breakdowns over one of my sorority sisters who I freakishly had a crush on but didn't know because I didn't know I was queer. Outside of those 1 or 2 instances where I drank in depression, I wasn't depressed. 2005, 2009, I wasn't fucking bitches yet. I wasn't really fucking nobody that could hurt my feelings that way. I wasn't putting myself in those places to feel other emotions. So at the time, liquor was only heightening the excitement that I was having to be out drinking with people and living in my fame of being a Greek person. So drinking stayed fun. Drinking, and then like, even after college, like I had a gap year, like I call, between going to grad school and graduating undergrad. And the first thing my mom did for me when I got home, like when we pulled all my shit out of the minivan after I moved back to her house after college, was she bought me a Bud Light Lime. And then I was back because I am very pro beer. I am pro beer. The first real drink that I ever had that I sought out on my own as a little kid, I was 6, was a Miller High Life. My mom's best friend / girlfriend at the time, so cool, so much so that I am wearing her hair. She used to always wear this short blonde situation. I have one too, but you can't see it because I'm wearing a anything goes hat. She used to drink Miller High Life in the little cute can, and she would get a pink straw with a little accordion piece in it, and she would walk around and drink those. And I just always thought she was so cool because she made me feel cool, because I feel like that's the only time that I was seen when she was around, because she wanted to see me. Like, oftentimes I don't even remember engaging with anybody. I remember just being in my fucking room, probably because abused. But when she came around, I was allowed to come out and talk and laugh and be cute. I got to be that cute kid that they want you to do all the dances for and sing to and all that shit. So I would watch her be so cool with this can of beer and this straw. And I was like, bitch, I like straws. I like the color of that can. I'm gonna drink it. So she happened to have left some cans behind when she had left one particular time. I remember going to get that fucking straw out of her can, out of the trash can, and I cracked that beer. And bitch, when I say there were stars in the room, like, yeah, bitch, because you're 6 and drunk. But when I tell you, from that day, if you ask anyone who knows me closely, or people who just think they know me, my Miller High Life is the champagne of beers. It says it on the motherfucking bottle. It's literally the champagne of beers. And I hate it because white people and gentrifiers in New York are making it like the new fucking Pabst Blue Ribbon or whatever the fuck. Put some respect on Miller High Life's name. The shit has been in the game, okay? I think it's like 1802 or some shit. It's a beautiful, beautiful drink. I got 12 beautiful champagne bottles of it upstairs. I can't drink it anymore because of weight loss surgery. It's a little bit too heavy, but the years I've spent. I should have stock. I should be the face of. If they would like to endorse me, I will go do the distance. I did a whole ad campaign for them for one of my classes, and like I have plans for Miller High Life. I think it should come back. I think it should come back. I think those of you who are enjoying it because it's a hipster cool thing, oh my God, look at this trash beer, you're trash. That shit is delicious. But I have pivoted. I've pivoted so hard. Now, while Miller High Life was like the base of my drinking, like it wasn't really present in college. We were drinking Natty Light because we really did not grow up. Like my college generation, there were people who had money, but like my friend group, we all were like working campus jobs, like selling books, stealing books, doing all this shit, trying to get money. Like it took those 2 bottles of vodka that I mentioned, like my first night of drinking on college campuses. Those $2 bottles, those 2 bottles were $16. I remember it because it was like $8.99 or $8.49 a bottle. And I remember us having to scrounge up and find it and like taking our little bit of laundry money and like really like struggling to make it ends meet to get it. Like it was like 5 people. It took 5 people to raise $17. So we were not in a place to be picky about what we were drinking just yet. So like when you get to the beer side of it, like Natty Light, you can get a 40 pack for $20. And like, that checks out to me. That just felt like good math. So Miller High Life wasn't one that you would opt into, but every time I got the chance to slide me one, bitch, I could knock back 12 ounces easy on any given night and 5 shots and things like that. And that's why it is one of my most expensive addictions, how I brought that all back. So even then, like I worked in Ohio and Cleveland for a year before going to grad school. And like, that's when I discovered the happy hour. Like we found this bar called Your Place and Mine, and they had a cute little business card on the back. Every day of the week, they would tell you what their drink would be. And it would be like, Mondays would be, mojitos, like Cosmos, like they would literally. And then to be honest, the people who worked there were shitty. Like this guy was working on the roof and the bartender stepped out. So he got back there. It's like, hey, what's in the Cosmo? And we lied, nigga, whatever you put in it, cause we gonna drink it. And it'd be like $4. So the thing about my alcoholism and my drinking and how it became expensive is because you don't notice how expensive it is, or how even if you're not paying for it in physical currency, you're paying for it in your waistline, or you're paying for it in being alert, or you're paying for it by realizing that now that it has become not something you can just walk away. It has now become something that you need to express, if you're me, your emotions, or to express you, because you're so engulfed in your emotions that you just kind of shut down. And then the liquor is what kind of opens me up. So you don't notice what you're paying for when you're doing it. So when I say I love drinking, I really love drinking because I still hadn't had a lot of those big instances where I brought drinking to my party. So I was literally drinking because we were young and dumb and it was fun and it was cheap, right? It was fun, it was light, it was not heavy. And that was my experience from 2005 till about 2010. And then I went to another school. So Bowling Green State University is always in the top 20 drunk. Like there's a stupid list that these colleges pay to be on, or like pay to know where they rank. It's like top party schools. I went to undergrad and grad school within the top 3 party schools. The grad school is the #1 party school. I don't even want to know. I think it's #1 party school, not just in Ohio. #1 party school. I went for grad school, and Bowling Green was like #3. So once I slid into grad school, the drinks got bigger, like pitchers. Like we would do $5 pitchers. And when I say pitchers, like think about, you've seen them, everyone's seen them. It's that clear little pitcher with that cute little handle. Almost looks like the ones you get in the hospital for the water, but it says Bud Light on it. And it's like this clear, frothy little stubby pitcher. But a pitcher, like I'm sure there's like, it yields 5 to 6 standard drinks, right? They would do $5 pitcher nights. And bitch, I could drink 2 to 3 of those. I just did not, there was no end to this gut. Like I could pound them and still get home and still be the life of the party. And once again, when you go to a smaller, here's a life hack for those of you who are on your way to college or thinking about college, or just go to a school in a small town. It's worth it. It's cheaper. The food's going to be better. The experience is going to be better. I cannot confirm or deny that you will get lynched depending on which small school you pick, because Bowling Green, Ohio, when I went there, was the Source Awards, but now I'm sure it's a Klan rally because it feels a lot whiter than what it was when I was there. And not just white, country white, like Trump white. there's a variance of whites. I really want to do a sociology study on whiteness and white people, because people keep saying they don't have culture, but that's not true. They have vast amounts of culture, vast amounts of white array. But that's, once again, not here, not there. But I recommend going to a small school, because I always say, now where I work and where I live in New York City, I was like, if I got dropped off here at 18, I'd be a meth head, I'd be dead, or I'd be famous in all three. But I could not imagine 18-year-old Chloe coming here trying. There's no granted, there are $8 bottles of liquor here, but like the ways in which I see these students and people play here, they're buying bottles, and they're usually like scotch and picklebacks and shit that are not cheap. Like drinking here on a college budget, while I'm sure they found a way to maneuver it, as someone who just can't see those spaces because I'm not allowed to walk into them because I'm an adult and an administrator and all that shit, I could have not afforded to really be here or maneuver this space this big. So I highly recommend, if you want to get your bang for your buck in just drinking, food, and experience alone, I highly recommend a small college, a public institution. I do, and I stand behind it, because it prepared me for this private life that I'm living now. But I say all that to say, it was not expensive still. Like a $5 pitcher for something that could yield 5 to 6 drinks. And now I'm making a little bit more money. And now my friend group is changing. And now something else has happened. So now I'm starting to witness drinking as a negative. Is, this is around the time where my grandmother was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and told she only has 6 months to a year to live. This is the time where this girl in my class is looking at me and I'm looking at her, but she's looking at me and oh shit, is this the time where queerness comes out? Yeah, it is. So now I'm having life shit happen, and I'm like, oh, I remember my mom. Let's circle back. When my mom was sad, she would play Aretha Franklin or Ann Nesby and drink and cry. Cue it on up. So I instantly fell into teetering between drinking for fun and drinking for feelings, and then drinking for fear of what's to come. And that is where it really got bad. And that is, I will say 2012 is when drinking became a crutch and an addiction and a problem for me. But I didn't care, and I didn't see it. And it was the norm, because once again, people find community. Not even misery loves company, but like if you're a drinker, you tend to find people who are also drinkers. On top of, now I'm in grad school with college people. So now we're doing grad school shit like Tour de France's. That, the Tour de France's, that's when you take that big wine box that if you open it up, fun fact, it's a big ass bag. It looks like a fucking cow udder of wine, and there's a straw, and then you race to finish it. I'm doing shit like that. We're doing wine pong now with brie and cheese because we're intellectuals. Now you're taking mimosas to class because it's a who can see. I'm showing it on the YouTube. Keep remembering that you can now watch me say all this shit live, and it's usually a lot more funnier than when you hear, but as long as you're listening, I don't care. Do whatever floats your boat. You would take something like this, a big ass insulated bottle full of champagne and fucking orange juice to the lecture, because who's listening? Who's paying attention? You're an adult. You're 24. Life is great. Excuse me. And then for me, that literally trickled into something that I've chronicled, which I haven't really talked about a lot yet, which was my grandmother actually passing away, and my first lesbian relationship ending because my partner got engaged to a man and said, I can't be gay with you because it's gross. And now I'm drinking because I'm depressed. And now I'm drinking and I'm drinking and I'm drinking. And then I moved to another small town where drinking is still fucking cheap. And then on top of drinking being cheap, I moved to a place where it is football nation. It's any given Sunday, but for college. I moved to the University of Georgia, where every football season, every weekend, you're drunk. The whole campus morphs and changes, and you have to move your car, and historical generational wealth members who've all gone to UGA and are bulldog proud. They come with fucking souped up RVs with TVs, and half of pigs will be in my front yard, and people will walk into my apartment thinking they can come in and use the bathroom because I forget to lock the door because I'm so drunk. Now I'm there, and once again, drinks are $4, and the cup, the cup keeps getting bigger, the price keeps getting smaller, my waistline keeps expanding, and my mental health keeps declining. Right? So that's what drinking looks like for Chloe the Beck. And then you find a group of people who actually like you, adore you, and want you to throw parties for them. And you get to bartend, and you get to, because I'm a talker, I have made so many amazing friends with bartenders who will slide you the drinks just so you can stay and hang out with them for their shift. And then you get invited to the parties and the keggers and the tailgates. Bitch, when I tell you, I worked at the University of Georgia for 2 years and sat through 2 football seasons and went to every game and could not tell you a score, couldn't tell you who won. I literally would just yell when other people yell. I was there for the drinks and for the fucking dips and chips. Bitch, I don't give a fuck about football. Fuck this shit. I don't care. But you know what I do care about? The Coronas. I care about those. I care about the Miller High Lifes because now I'm really drinking them. Now they are everywhere. I care about the juice jams and the barbecues and all the shit, and like thousands and thousands of dollars are just slipping away from me. Like I have nothing of substance from my time in my career, that 2 years that I worked there. I have nothing saved. I have not a pay stub. I'm not even getting the loan forgiveness for it yet, which is a call I got to make after this. I drank my paychecks away. I drank them. And then I moved to the New York City, where you guys have already seen what the fuck that's like. If not, listen to episode 6 years of depression. Listen to episode 5 failed friendships. Listen to pretty much any episode. It kind of talks about my disdain and dislike for New York. But the only thing I do like about New York is that you can be invisible here and you can go anywhere, any borough. My favorite bar at the highest weight, my favorite bar is in a whole nother part of Brooklyn, because I just didn't want to be around Manhattan proper because too many people I work with are around this motherfucker, and I'm okay, I pass. So I would take a car. So now we're talking about, not only is it expensive to get to the bar and drink, now I'm adding an Uber, 2 Ubers, because I'm damn sure not taking the train back, and I was too fat to even try to figure out how to take the train there. So like now I'm taking 2 Ubers to a bar all the way in Brooklyn, in Fort Greene, which is where I'm from, where I belong. I'm gonna get my brownstone there, don't you even worry about it, to this bar called Moe's. Moe's, like welcome to Moe's, but it's M-O''S, Moe's Bar. And if you are in New York and Fort Greene, the only thing I will say is that it has changed ownership, and now they're cash only, that is why I know I have a drinking problem, because every time a bar says cash only, it pisses me off. Don't you tell me how much I can drink based on how much cash I have in my pocket. If you don't take this motherfucking credit card that has $20,000 on it and figure that shit out on the back end with your little square, fuck you. So I don't go to Moe's a lot, because no matter how much cash you bring, and this is something I've also learned about my drunken behavior, I try to, when I'm in the boundaries place, I'm like, okay, I'm only gonna bring $45. And it never fucking fails that just 45 is never enough. You always got to go get more, or you got to go do this, you got to do that. So that's why I prefer to use cards, so I don't have to even think about budgeting, because ultimately once you start drinking, what the fuck is a budget if you're me and you have an addiction? But I say all that to say, I gave you guys all of that to say that I am no longer that person. Thanks to weight loss surgery and the fact that I am acknowledging in real time that drinking has done more harm than pleasure to me, I no longer enjoy drinking for emotion or drinking for fun or drinking. I will say that while I am not officially done drinking, I do like the boundaries that I do have around it, because now I actively purposely choose to drink when I'm having a good time. I choose to drink when I want to drink. And I walked around here for a good year just lost, because drinking had become what I did so much. Like on a day, like Friday is the worst. Friday after work, I'm like, what do I do? Where do I go? And then I think I talked about it somewhere, like even COVID, the only thing that has made drinking or made COVID not feel like COVID is that the bars are still very much open. And for a long time, bars were the only thing that was open. So here I am, been locked up in the house, locked up. I can't really go out since March. And then like when they finally do the first wave, the first fucking thing they open is bars. And because you just want to get out of the house, you want to see people. I went to a few in COVID, and it was so true that like I don't want to drink anymore, because the drinks suck, the price suck. And if I'm going to die from COVID, I would be really pissed if it's because I went to a bar. Like, bitch, if you're going to die from COVID, be a first responder. Be somebody who, you know, I don't want to die. I think it's a calculated risk. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, because I do go out. I have engaged in group settings in COVID. Had a very close call recently with one, and it's a calculated risk, but like I'm only willing to take that calculated risk to see people, to engage with people, to have genuine conversations. And I'm so grateful that drinking does not steer my life anymore, because I'm not remotely interested in dying from COVID, because I had to have that Miller High Life at that shitty bar. So, but to wrap this up, while that is my truth, something that I did not account for this year is the seasonal depression that I talk about. Like I get very depressed during Christmas time, and this is the one year where I'm feeling it in real time, and this is the one year where it's not welcome. Something about my seasonal depression. I said I treat myself like a super host. Like, come on, depression, let me get you your liquor. Let me get you your food. Let me get you your don't respond to text. Let me shut you down. Here's that soundtrack you like. Here, go cry under that tree. Think about all the Christmas you had, all the family who loved you. Now they're all dead and no one cares about you and you don't care about them. And if you have kids, you have nothing to show them because you don't have a fucking family anymore. I was like, yes, let's talk about that. Let's live in that. Let's put on that sad snuggie. Last year, that didn't happen. My mom actually came to visit me, which was it was not great, but it was great. Me and my partner, we discussed how this Christmas, we weren't even going to do Christmas because I finally talked about how much stress and hurt I put on myself to try to make Christmas happen again the way I remembered as a kid, knowing that I don't have all the key players or all the key parts or anyone to really help me make my dreams of Christmas past come true. So we talked about we're not gonna, until we can do Christmas the way that I want to do Christmas down to the T, let's just not do it. Let's not, even if you half-ass attempt it, it's gonna suck, so let's not. And then COVID hit, and we were supposed to be on a cruise somewhere tropical. We're supposed to be somewhere where you can't even remember that Santa has a sleigh. But then COVID hit and plans changed, and the truth of realizing that this might be some key people's last Christmas, or hell, your last Christmas if you're me, because you're still a Black queer woman who walks out of New York City and because it's cold as fuck have on the wrong coat, the wrong hoodie, the wrong mask, and can still get shot just because I'm the wrong skin tone. So life and what it means is looking so different. And then coupled with the fact that like my coping mechanisms of food, which I don't really even have one. I swear I didn't talk enough about how I'm so confused by my food addiction. And well, fuck it, I'll bring it here. Maybe I'll bring it back. Let's save that. So I don't have my armor to endure my seasonal depression this year. And I sat with my therapist yesterday and I let tears fall because I'm like, I didn't even want to say it out loud that it was coming because I've been doing so good. The one thing I think about my depression when I talk about it being something that pops up and pops out, it's been a long time since I've had a depression outbreak. It's been so long. And like, I thought that I beat it. Like I thought depression was this thing that you could beat. Like, aha, it's Bowser at the end and I knocked his head. I got you, depression, you're gone. But no. This one is feeling here. Like my therapist, she summed it up perfectly. She's like, it's that Spider-Man meme where it's like 6 Spider-Men pointing at each other. And it's like seasonal depression, COVID depression, regular depression, job depression, life depression. Like I have to give myself grace in knowing that even though I'm not necessarily as sad about Christmas proper this year, this has been a very hard year. This year has fucking sucked. This year has taken people away from me that I didn't even know I needed. This year has just... And every day I try to wake up and be positive and just be grateful because I've been so ungrateful for so long. I was struggling with the both and I'm still saying I'm so grateful that I made it. I'm making it. I'm so grateful that I have a career and a job and a paycheck. I'm so grateful that I don't need liquor the way I thought I needed it. But I'm grateful for people who want to be around me. I'm grateful for realizing all the mistakes I've made. I'm grateful for all the opportunities I now see that I still have. I'm grateful for everything that went wrong because it made me great. Like I'm grateful for the broken road that led me to my partner, to my peace, to this podcast. I'm so grateful for all of that shit. But being grateful for all of that shit does not negate the chemical imbalance from that the DSM-5, because I am textbook depressed. I took antidepressants to which I have weaned myself off, and this might have been the time to go back. On top of COVID continues to morph your plans, your visions, your thoughts, your hopes, your dreams. So, of course, depression, while timing feels like, oh, I thought we worked through this, we didn't work through it all. And there's new things to work through and you're depressed. And now I'm depressed and I have to feel it. Alice Smith has a song, everything you wanted me to feel inside my body, I can feel it. I can feel it. And I don't like it. And it's not welcome here. You abandoned me. Hey, we can do this all day. Depression still lives here, whore. Yeah, so it's expensive to be a drinker, and it's so much more expensive than, while I am very disappointed and coming to terms with how much money I've spent being depressed, because not only am I taking Ubers to get to bars and buying out the bar and buying bitches drinks who don't like me and drinking because I don't know what to do on a good day. If it's a sunny day, I feel like I should be drunk to enjoy it more. Or if it's a sad day, I should be drunk to be sadder. Goddamn, drinking. And now I'm not even walking into depression. Jumped me. Depression pulled up in a white van and snatched me just within the last few days, because it really hit me when I realized that in my job, we're about a day and a half away from being done for the semester, and we get this good 2.5 weeks of nothing. And now it's like, I don't even have anything because COVID, there's nowhere to go. There's no traditional holidays. There's not even, me and my girlfriend can't even go to a movie, which is something that we love doing. Like, I have none of the positive coping currently, on top of no work shit to keep me super busy, on top of I'm fried and exhausted, and I do need a moment to just stop. Like, I cannot wait to get to the first day of Podmas and maybe one episode, because I need things in succinct numbers. But like, I'm tired. But now it's like, what do you do with all this downtime besides think about all the things that you are usually depressed about, or the remember whens, or the oh what abouts, or the job insecurities. All these things are kind of waiting for me upstairs when I'm done with this episode. And now I can't even bring my good friend Hennessy with me to say, help me fight these bitches. Can you take this round? Like, can we take shifts in this shit? And I'm not going to even sit here and say I'm not going to go buy a bottle, because I think I will. But like, I don't. The joy of drinking is not even there. Like, I'm not even excited to be depressed drunk. I used to be excited to be depressed drunk, because nothing hits like a song lyric when you are pissy drunk and crying. Song sounds, musicians, grateful for them because they can do things to you that you need done, that you didn't even know you need done. They can say shit for you. They can, the emotion that you want to feel, there is a song for it, and you ain't even got to think. You just be like, yep, retweet. But I don't want to be there. I don't want to sit with What Do the Lonely Do. I don't want to hear Baby Please Come Home for Christmas. I don't want to hear The Temptations Silent Night, because it will make me so much more sadder this time around, because then I will remember the times I heard it and who I heard it with. And this time I don't even have my good friend Liquor to say, it's okay, I got you. Going through depression without any balances of alcohol or pharmaceuticals, it's expensive to your mental health. It's expensive, it's expensive, it's expensive. It's an addiction. I have a drinking relationship. I don't feel comfortable saying it's a problem, but I have had drinking problems for a long time. And now my problem is I don't know how to live without the drinking. Ain't that a bitch? So and that is that. And I have nothing else to say about that. And I hope you all send me well wishes and love and positivity, because I don't know what I don't know about what this holiday season and what this break will feel like, knowing that I kind of just have to face a lot of shit that I didn't have to face since 21. Well, actually I didn't drink depressing for 21. Like 24, since the ages of 24 to 31, I drank for depression reasons, and I don't know what to do with that. I don't know. I didn't really have a backup plan on, okay, you're not going to drink anymore, so you're going to read a book, take a bath, pray it away, sleep it away, all those things. But this is talk about 5 failed friendships. Fuck, drinking. You failed me, and now you failed me because now you're not my friend anymore. And speaking of somebody else who's not my friend anymore, my second most expensive, it's so expensive, it costs me so much, addiction, I gotta say it, it's food. It's fucking food. Something I don't understand my relationship with food. When I looked, before getting weight loss surgery, I had no fucking clue why I was fat, because I'm like, I don't even eat. There's a plethora of people who say, Chloe, all those barbecues I just talked about, I used to throw barbecues and reasons to drink and tailgates and dips. While niggas was filling their plates, I would cook the food, prepare the food, get the food to my table, get all the people to the place. The minute we say the food is done, sometimes we would pray, sometimes we wouldn't. While those niggas was making them burgers, getting at them baked beans, doing the shit with the codfish and the salt, whatever the fuck we were eating at the time, because food in Georgia also delicious, I would instantly start drinking. The minute they started eating, I would be 4 drinks in. I'm popping High Lifes. Jack Daniels was my bitch for a long time. Jack Daniels, still ride with you, I'll still do Jack and Ginger. I'll do a Jack and Coke. I like Jack Daniels. Has a lower sugar content than Crown Royal, which is what was its predecessor for me. I found this out actually in Georgia. Like, I was going to a cigar bar, which also had like a liquor store component. And the guy was like, oh, I used to drink that all the time, but the sugar is so much. It's just so bad. He's like, you know what you should try? Jack Daniels. It's the same feeling, but so much less sugar. And as someone who was already fat and slightly concerned about it, I pivoted, and the person wasn't wrong. So I can't tell you the last time I officially enjoyed a Crown Royal. I think it was 2014. So much so I remember throwing up outside of a moving car for New Year's. So that's another reason why it's not drinking doesn't necessarily always do the thing if you don't have a control over it, or if you don't understand why you're drinking, or if you understand why you're drinking and you choose better choices. But we're going to pivot back to food. I was a drinker over an eater. And then I talked about a little bit on the fourth day of Podmas with the 400 pounds. Like, I think a lot of my weight gain is my lack of food relationship. It's because I did not eat consistently, regularly, balanced meals often, that my body shut down and hoarded the fat. Because when I did eat, so I'm the type of person who during a eating, drinking party event while everybody's eating, I choose to drink because I don't want to feel full from food and then can't really fuck it up. / I always thought if you put too much of two different things in your body, it was a bad idea. It was a recipe for disaster. So I would drink and drink and drink and drink. And then when they go home with their to-go plates, I would warm up my big ass gangster plate of all the shit that I could have been eating throughout the party. And then I would go to sleep on top of it. So I truly believe that was my weight loss or my weight gain recipe for disaster. I wouldn't eat a lot. I wouldn't eat consistently. And then when I would eat, I still do this thing. And I talk about it in a lot of my previous therapy sessions, where I don't enjoy having to stop what I'm doing to eat. Like, something that a lot of people pointed out to me here is that I don't go out to eat for lunch, because I'm like, I just want to get through my day. Like, I don't understand how people say, I'm working on something, I'm solving a problem, I'm emailing, I'm looking at spreadsheets, I'm talking to a student, I'm doing all this shit. And then 12 o'clock hits and I just hard stop to go eat for an hour. I could never enjoy that hour, because I'm like, I would just much rather do all my work. See, I'm a work first, play later girl, and that shows up in this way as well. And it damaged me, and it cost me a lot, like half of my stomach. So I would use food as a reward. Like, I would do all my tasks, walk the dog, put in the laundry, do the dishes, finish the emails, check 6 emails after work, because you have no work-life balance, because you don't have balance. Hello, do all this other shit. And then when there's nothing, like when I say, turn off the lights, hey, I would light a candle. I actually do light candles. I keep it real sexy in my apartment from time to time. I would make sure that there was going to be nothing that would get in the way of me and whatever I was about to eat. And another truth is I didn't really enjoy eating in front of people because I was already fat, and when I do it to people, so I know people do it to me. Like, I could sit down with a skinny colleague, a big colleague, an in-between colleague, and they, like, we have trough pre-COVID, we had trough style meals where you could just go and go and go, one meal swipe. You could just eat your hour away, breakfast, lunch, dinner, options, booths, stations, get it. Some of which you serve yourself, which is such a slippery slope, because bitch, while they have a little placard that says the serving size, bitch, if I want 13 Swedish meatballs on a bed of noodles, I'm going to get 13. I don't give a fuck that it says the serving size is 4. Who the fuck eats 4 meatballs? Fuck you. What am I, 2? But I say all that to say the shame of already being a big person. When you are fat, when I am fat, when I live my fat life, my fat 600-pound life, I think about being fat more than I think about anything else. And one thing that was ringing so true to me is that going to those places where the plates would pile up, or you could scoop what you want, people would watch you and say, aha, that's why she's fat. That's why you're fat. Look at what you're eating. And the truth of the matter is, what they don't know is I probably didn't eat the whole day before. And this is my first meal of the day and probably my last meal of the day. But people think when you're fat, all you do is eat consistently, constantly, overtly, overweightly. And that wasn't my truth. But I'm like, because I can't run up to you and say, I am fat, but I'm fat because I don't eat often, and what you're seeing is my only meal, I just opted out. I didn't want to sit around people. And then you add the piece of sometimes like I would go to restaurants with colleagues and like they would say, oh, let's get a booth instead of a table. And then I don't fit in the booth. And now 6 of us are uncomfortable because now they got to say, oh, well, actually it looks a little, it's not enough room. I like more space. Wouldn't you like more space? Just say we have a fat friend +1, +2. So I've experienced enough of that, of not even being able to fit in the seat at the place that's going to feed me. So I opted out. And then I would literally, that coupled with, I don't like breaking my stride for a meal because it's just not worth it to me in that way. Cause like nothing I'm eating here is worth me stopping my day, walking to go get it, sitting down, having more dumbass work conversations about, oh my God, did you see what they did? Oh my God, this person did this and they don't listen to me and fuck this and I can't wait to quit. I don't want to hear that shit. When I'm eating my food, I want to look at my food and think about something else and not you, the nigga I'm sitting across from. I don't give a fuck to talk about you, work, nothing. I don't want to talk about anything. I want to talk about what it tastes like. And I don't want to talk about that with you per se. So, that is where my weight gain started, on top of like what I told you all in one of the episodes before. I did not realize how much liquid calories and carbs existed. I had this just irresponsible reality about liquids. I'm like, how can something that is liquid equate to weight? It just, in my brain, I still don't understand it. Now I know how to read the label. And now I understand that one fucking standard Canada Dry delicious can has 53 grams of sugar in it, coinciding with 48 carbs, like that. And that's the thing, like, of course, and that's why I'm looking back like, damn, how come you never were not full during, or like, how come you were never not like hurt for doing all that drinking? Because the drinking was actually filling you up and you were getting carbs and salts and all these things. So, I struggle with how I eat food, and I still do that thing where I want to be done with everything else in my way, and I think of food as a reward, and I have to now think of food as fuel, which is something that I'm struggling with. But when I say it costs me, it costs me years off of my life. It cost me Letterman jackets. It cost me keepsakes, because now that I have gone through weight loss surgery, something like my line jacket, which was like my VIP pass to Bowling Green State University and all my drunken nights, like a jacket that means the world to me, that I wore consistently because I couldn't fit anything else. That jacket has to be retired because it's a 4X jacket. It costs me parties and experiences, and I didn't even go to one of my favorite sorority sisters' wedding, to which she asked me to be the MC of her wedding because I didn't have an outfit to wear, because I didn't want to embarrass her on her day, because of my relationship with food gave me a body that I didn't know how and still don't know how to maneuver. Food has cost me, for Christmas, it's cost me my biggest heartache, because all I can remember about all I remember about some of the best people in my life, some of the best times in my life, is what was on the table. And when I had weight loss surgery, I chronicled it so well how I thought I was going to lose those relationships with those people or those memories, because now that I'm choosing myself and choosing to figure out food as a 30-something person, when I'm depressed because it's Christmas, because it's COVID, because everything is changing, I can't even go make my grandmother's famous casserole because I shouldn't be eating it. So food has cost me connection and community, and I have dreams for my fashion, guys. I don't talk about it a lot, but I have dreams for how I look. I have dreams for what I can wear. I have dreams for how I can bust you hoes' heads, and how I have dreams. I have dreams. I have dreams. I have dreams about it, and I have wants and desires, and social media doesn't help because it shows it to me, and then it shows me that it doesn't come in my size, or it shows me that you got to pay as much to get it tailored as you do to buy it, and then it shows me that your doctor did say you still need to lose 35 pounds, so when can you step into your Dapper Daddy Dyke, or your I'ma bust it up with this Kevin McAllister Connecticut dyke wear, or like, food has put me in purgatory for my peace. And now it has given me such an anxiety, because now I'm like, now that I do know all this stuff, now that I am thinking about all this stuff, now that I do want to get closer to the body type that'll let me wear the outfit so I can really bust you hoes' heads. My therapist told me something that she said, and I fully appreciate her. She said, this is gonna suck. This year, this Christmas, this holiday, this is gonna suck. On top of all the shit that you haven't even talked about, it's gonna suck because COVID has done the thing. She's like, treat yourself like you're a sick little kid. If you want a certain pajama, wear it. Whatever you want to eat, eat it. Whatever you want to drink, drink it. Whatever you want to do, do it. And while I think that is some of the best advice ever, I am so insecure. Wow, that's the first time that came up in 54 minutes. I'm so insecure about it because everything feels like a slippery slope, like I don't really have a hold on it. Like I really thought I had a hold on my depression. I really thought that I was doing enough to be grateful enough to have my grateful meter outweigh my depression meter, not realizing they're not even on the same scale. So while I think I'm going to lean into what my therapist said, and from the December 25th to January 1st, I'm going to just be and relax and calm down and enjoy and eat. Since food has cost me my stomach, I can't even eat to feel the fullness that food used to let me feel when I was finally eating for feelings. Like, I don't care what you say, even though your body, my body will feel full, I did not see or physically eat enough to feel the emotional full. Like, they cut my physical stomach, but my emotional stomach is still 400 pounds. My emotional stomach still needs heaps and heaps and helpings and servings. And it's cost me. Food has cost me all of that. Food has given me more turmoil than I ever thought it would because I didn't engage with my food the way I should have. I didn't assess it. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't think about it. I didn't even acknowledge the role that it played until it couldn't play that role anymore. But you don't know what you got till it's gone. So that's my second. Like, that one is tough. That one, like I said, I could talk about the food shit over and over and over again, and I probably will, because every time it comes up, I have to get it out, because another part of food and another part of my addiction to it is my addiction to shame around it. Like, it's so upsetting. Like, no one ever thinks about fat people as having an eating disorder. They always just say, oh, just stop eating. Just stop eating. Just go work out. You think any 400, 500, 600, 700 pound person wants to be that way? And do you truly think that if the key to fixing it was to stop eating, that they wouldn't? I watch it on my 600 pound life. I watch it every time. Oh, grandma died. All I had was this. No, food holds me, hugs me, loves me, treats me. But it becomes medical. Once you get to morbidly obese, it is officially a medical crisis. It is not just as simple as, oh, have a grapefruit. Bitch, I love grapefruits. I love salads. I love food that, I don't even like a lot of the stereotypical foods that you would think is what made me a fat bitch. Fuck ranch. I think ranch is disgusting. Okay? I love shredded wheat. I'm not even a bitch who's like, ooh, give me Lucky Charms. I'm a grape nut bitch, if you want to be honest. Like, I just, it's so unfair, the things that they assign to a fat body, because all they see is a fat body. You know, while I don't subscribe to her and she's not for me, I appreciate and I applaud people like Lizzo, who's like, bitch, I work out. I'm doing all the things I'm doing, but weight is weight and body is body and genetics are genetics, and fuck you, honestly. But it sucks because you are imprisoned to I am imprisoned to other people's opinions about my weight more than I am my own opinions or people's assumptions. And that becomes an addiction, because then, because of that whole fear that I have about people and what they think about how I eat, I would rather hear them say, Chloe, don't eat anything. Which is why now I'm starving myself on the days where I do want to actually pick up that plate when everybody else is picking it up. I'm like, well, these niggas know I don't really eat, so they can't say she's fat because she eats. I don't want them to see me eat, so they be like, aha, bitch, you are fat because you eat. It's slippery. I'm addicted to food, and I'm more so addicted to my trauma surrounding food than food its actual self. So the last one that I was going to talk about was shopping. And while I started this whole thing around how I have spent too much money and bought too many Yeezys and keep buying the Beyonce line, I think it's been very clear that I have a shopping addiction. I can talk to you about where it came from, but I don't want to. I think the last addiction that has been so expensive, which you've heard it throughout. My biggest addiction, the most expensive addiction, I would say, is being concerned about what people think of me, about me, the work I do. I care too much. Chloe Beck, insecurely cares entirely too much about what other people think of me. I don't know where that started. I can only suspect that when I talk about the 6 years of depression, it has become very at the forefront since working where I work and living where I live and engaging with the people that I've had to endure here. And I even talked a little bit about it with the whole Friends 3 and 4, I want to say. People don't, for the first time in my life, and I will consider myself still blessed, for the first time in my 33 years of life, within this last 5 or 6 years, I've experienced people not like me. Like, people go out of their way to be mean to me, to overlook me for opportunities, to spit on my name and my character and my person, and try to create a "We Hate Chloe Beck" fan club. Fun fact, if you go on YouTube, there's this fan club called Chloe Beck is Awesome. It was started with my freshman year of college. But there's a fan club of like, fuck her. We don't like her. She is a no. And this is something that I thought you would experience in high school, middle school, grade school, but like I have been bullied in my adult life. And it has forced me to be hypercritical of how people view me, what they think of me, if they like me, so much so that it does that self-fulfilling prophecy where, like, even if you do like me, I alienate you enough because I need you to prove it to me, because so many people say they like me just to get enough, just so they can take it back to their fan clubs of fuck Chloe and use it against me. That it has created a terrible insecurity around me and how I present and how I show up and if people like me. I like being liked. I don't think anyone who doesn't like being liked is a motherfucking liar. You're a liar. Everybody wants to be liked, loved, adored, admired, appreciated, famous, Beyonce, all of that. We all want that. And to have it and to have had it for so long and to have seen it do the thing and then to have it taken away from you and then without your control, or like to have narratives created about you that you have no way to disprove, or no matter how great you are, even being great is the thing they hate more. So like they just damn you. Like, it has been so expensive to my mental health. It has been so expensive to me being able to make friends. In my 33 years of life, in my adult life in New York City proper, I only have one friend who is not my partner that I will claim in real time, that is not attached to the bullshit of the abuse that I have received since dating the wrong person. You know what's crazy? Dating the wrong person can kill you. Dating the wrong person can ruin your career. Dating the wrong person can make you look like you are nothing when you are everything and was everything to them. Dating the person who has the venom to break you in a way that you allow like that is damaging. And it has made me second guess every part of me. It has made me question things that I held true to myself. Like, am I not a good person? Am I not a good friend? This whole what is wrong with me thing has consumed me for the last 6 years of my life. And it has crippled me in ways to the point where I don't even want to meet new people. I don't even want to engage with new people. I don't even know how to leave the abusive situations that I'm in, because I'm just like, well, at least I know this abuse. And when you allow someone to become larger than life, or their narrative to become so real, it has stunted me. I won't say it stunts you, but in my experience, it has stunted me in a way that makes me not even see my worth enough to leave the broken situation. Like, you're so broken that you're Stockholm syndromed into your brokenness. Like, it's like, oh my God, if all these people don't like you, why don't you just leave? Because while they don't like you, what they've also done is broken your spirit so much that you're like, well, if these idiots don't like me and I'm fucking great to them, how could anybody else like me? How could anybody else see me? How could anybody else think I'm good at what I do? Because they have created barriers and boundaries and ways in which that I cannot even progress to show that I am great. And then one day they wake up and say, we're tired of bullying you. You're okay now. Thanks, buddy. Well, some of them are like, no, bitch, fuck you. And I will, retweet likewise. But that has been my biggest insecurity in my recent life, is that I have witnessed in real time being blackballed, blacklisted, overlooked, removed from opportunities, spoken about in a way that would say that I am incapable or incompetent when I'm the same person that you all have hired or decided to work with or promoted. But when the right people have the right ears, it can be all wrong. It can be all wrong. And that's fine. And I have made peace with my pieces of that. But what I am not making a lot of peace with is like how to repair that damage that I sat in for 6 years. Like, I'm struggling to see my worth, know my worth, put my worth in a cover letter, shoot my shot in other places, because I think these people's reach is so expansive. Like, oh my God, like I feel like they have damaged me and ruined me for this whole industry that I'm in. Like, bitch, you need to move. You need to go sell drugs. I don't know. Shit, they might say I'm not good at that. Like, it's so crazy how when you're wounded and broken, that's the time when people attack. Or when you're so kind and so sweet and so funny and so smart and so talented that someone has to create a caricature or a grotesque iteration of you that you only see the way that they've painted you. So much so that you begin to ignore the other people who are like, dumb bitch, we see you. Shine bright like a diamond, we see you. We want to see more of you. We want to hear your thoughts. You know how hard it is to say, this is why the color purple, I know what it's like to want to sing and have it beat out you. I sat in that jail. I just want to say to all of you, Miss C's, I remember the days you saw me in the store and I was looking mighty bad and I was feeling mighty low. Then I seen you. I want you to know that I see that you all see me, but I also want you to know that it's so hard to see you when so many people put you in this cage, when you look like Miss Sophia begging for help. Sheriff, help me, help me, Sheriff, help me. And then the sheriff comes and helps you and he hits you in your eye. That is what my experience has been like where I have currently been. I have been told that heaven lasts always. And now I'm telling myself, bitch, bash Mister's head open now and think about heaven later. Color Purple 35-year anniversary just passed. I'm a stan. I'm a stan. And it's crazy how God plants these things in my life to then make sense later. I was Sophia. I was this strong, proud, determined, opinionated, will change the world if you move out of my fucking way. And if you don't move, I will move you. I was that until I spoke to the wrong person. My hell no was I didn't even get to say hell no. Somebody said hell no to me and then turned around and still bust me in my fucking eye. Ain't that a bitch? But it has made me so critical of relationships and critical of if I can even engage in new ones. Or it for a long time, it made me want to meet people before other people got to them so they could see me first. And hopefully my impression was enough. And in real time, I saw it not be enough. And then I realized you are always going to be Miss Sophia / Miss Celia as long as you sit where you sit. So now I'm looking for that day where those beautiful purple colors come out of that car and just welcome me. Because right now I'm Miss Celia in her beautiful home with her Sugar Avery, just minding my own business. These are my pants. This podcast is me in my pants. One size gonna fit all because I got something for all of y'all. I'm there. But now I'm just looking for that freedom of family and community and friends. Oh, bougie mama. That's what I'm looking for. But it's hard to get there when I become my own mister. I become mister. I'm telling myself, you're not, no, don't do that. They don't want you. They don't like you. Look, that's why they don't even call you. That's why you're not even this. Don't even look at that. Don't even that. Whew. I used to walk through this world like Bambi. I used to walk through this world so freeing and peaceful and kind and funny and good-hearted and giving out of scarcity, being too kind and too free and ignoring my boundaries because I just wanted other people to feel good. Because when people felt good around me, they kept me around until I got here. And like, no matter what you do, you could I was about to do another lyric. I'm going to try not to, but I had a lyric that would have summed that up perfectly. But I would create experiences for people. I would give when I had nothing. I would pour from an empty cup. And they just never seem to have anything in their cup, which I have seen runneth over time after time after time after time after time again. Oh, man. I have so much more to say about that, and I can't wait to say it in a place where it's safe and where I can really talk about a lot of things, from HR to work politics to social capital to retaliation to how the fuck do you prove it, to anti-blackness in spaces with people who are also people of color, from if you don't rub my back the right way, I will make sure you never see the light of day again. You will never be free. And not only will you not be free here, I'm going to make sure you can't be free anywhere. I'm not even going to sell you to the next slave house. So yeah, I care. Well, I care. No, I care. I care, and I'm working on learning to care with context, and I'm learning to care with discretion, because like some people I don't even like don't like me, and it bothers me. And that's some shit like, bitch, I don't like you either. And two, fuck you. I don't like you either. But the fact that you don't like me and you have more social capital and you can control how I maneuver spaces makes me have to care a little bit more. Or I got to grow up officially and just be done and say, you don't want me, so I'm not going to give you me. You don't value me, so I'm not going to sit on that experience for you. You don't want my voice, so now okay, if you don't want to hear me speak, I will be, and Maya Angelou, after she was assaulted, I will be silent. But what I have to learn is being silent in one space does not mean being silent in every space. You know, when people show you who they are, believe them. When they show you what they think of you, believe that too. Stop trying to right their wrongs. If I am shitty to you, if you're watching this, if you think I'm shitty, you right. Blame it on me. Say it's my fault. You can have it. I am shitty. I suck. I'm all the things that you said I am, if that helps you sleep at night. But just because you said it, and I'm going to go ahead and be that for you, I have to remember that I am not that for me, and I'm not that for the next person who deserves the part of me that you neglected. So it's been expensive, as you can see. I can't even talk to you about it because it's so expensive that I have to talk about it. It's expensive. It's cost me promotion. It's cost me my live-off dreams. It's cost me boundaries. It's cost me tangible relationships. It's cost me real friends that would have shown up if I would have just known how to be enough for them. It's turned me into a bad friend. And that's something I value. I love being a great friend. I used to say, I'm everybody's best friend, but no one's my best friend. See, you manifested that shit, Chloe. I used to say it all the time. I was like, oh, I'm everybody's best friend. I'm everybody's best friend, but nobody's my best friend. And now that I'm sitting here with no best friend, it's expensive. So we're working on new currencies. We're working on new ways, new habits, new truths. And my biggest Christmas wish, if Santa could come down the chimney, the sleigh, the elevator, the Uber Eats, however Santa's going to get here, if Santa could bring me the truth, really not giving a fuck what people who don't matter think, or stop making people matter who don't. If Santa could help me with that, that is the gift that I want for this year. And I hope this podcast was a gift for you, because I hope you've heard some things. I hope you heard that you need to assess how you engage with alcohol and what it means to you. I hope you heard that it's okay to not be in the best spirit this year, because if any year to be depressed about some shit, let it be this year. Like, I would hate to be seasonally depressed once the vaccine don't turn me into Spider-Woman and the World War Z actually doesn't happen and it's not Tuskegee 2.2. As long as, because let's be honest, the crack was Tuskegee 2.0, but we don't talk about that. They injected black people with crack, but we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that, but we talk about that here. When all those things happen and I am allowed to have my tropical vacation, when the bitches is drinking rum punches because she wants to, not because she's trying to slit her wrist, I don't want depression to show up then. So I'm going to use this shitty off year to be as depressed can be. But you know what I'm going to do after that? Go back to therapy. Read a book, because I got so many that I own and have not even opened, but they look good because I want to be a fake hotep. I'm going to hope that you heard that being kind to bigger people will not hurt you. And it will free them from so many of the chains that they put on themselves, because aside from their physical weight, the weight that they carry for being overweight, and the weight that they carry for the ways in which you all look at them, or the way that you all perceive them, or the way that they don't even know how to perceive themselves, or all the things that they have to mourn because they can't do things like ride a roller coaster with their kid, or pick up their dog's poop because they can't bend down, or even walk their dog because they're too tired, or how many rooms that they don't even try to walk into because they feel like all you will see is their size and not the size of their heart, or the size of their intelligence, or the size of their contribution to whatever it is that they're trying to share. I hope you all hear that being fat and overweight, while we don't always get it right because everybody has fuck ups, it's a medical condition, and it's not easy. It's not as simple as, oh, just go work out. It's not as simple as just eat less, because I ate less and I gained more. I hope you hear that the ways in which you maneuver your spaces can imprint on a person that will stifle them for the rest of their time. I hope you think about being kind, and think about the person who was the shittiest person that you've ever experienced, and realize that you're probably that exact same person to somebody else. I'm watching this show Transparent, which is on Amazon Prime. Oh my fucking God, it's so good. The lessons are alarming. And there was this conversation that the rabbi in there, spoiler alert, was talking about, and she talked about how in Jewish culture, or in their religion, they say that there are 36 people keeping the world safe or alive. It's almost like the fifth element. There are 36 people who keep all this shit from falling apart. And she talked about how the whole thing is we don't know who the 36 people are. They don't even know that they are the coveted 36. So when you maneuver through your life, treat everybody as if, including yourself, Chloe Beck, treat yourself as if you're one of the 36 people keeping this world alive and afloat. And in this holiday season, that's what goodwill towards men looks like for me moving forward. So I highly recommend you watch Transparent, because it is what the fuck amazing. Amazon Prime, like 6 seasons, the best thing I've ever seen in my whole life. I love it, love it, love it. Even though there are no black people in it, which I still have to unpack that later because representation matters. Episode 9 of the podcast, I talked about it on Hulu. Hell, representing, ooh, Hulu, fuck Hulu, but we're not there yet. I hope that you all realize that the things that you do to people really do damage them and change them and cripple them in a way. And like, you can not like a person for the 3 or 4 years you work with them, but realize that the stuff and the experiences and the ways in which you maneuver that not liking them could be the reason why they die, the reason why they kill you, the reason why they're out sleeping underneath the marquee, or if they're me, the reason why their name is on the top of it. So you bitches better watch out, because you better hope that I work through this shit, because the minute I do my stand-up about some of you fuckers, y'all gonna have to sue me, because I'm coming for you. I can't wait. Ooh, bitch. It's gonna be called From HR to Hollywood. I hope you bitches are ready. And on that note, 'tis the motherfucking season to be depressed, to be fat, to be drunk, to be free, to be sad, to be you, to be me. If no one else tells you that this year, I love each and every one of you listening. I pray for your peace, your prosperity, your wholeness, your truths to become your truths, your traumas to become healed. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Milana Karenga, rescue me if I'm wrong. I love that man. Happy people. I wish you nothing but the best. And until then, when you hear me on the second day of Podmas, this has been your Insequeer as fuck ass host, Chloe Beck, and I hope you know there's so much more to show. All right, y'all, I'm out. Bye.